The king sent someone to assassinate the former prime minister. The emperor ordered the prime minister to investigate the king. After finding out the truth, the prime minister burned all the materials and returned to report to the emperor empty-handed. The emperor was very angry. The prime minister said calmly, "Your Majesty, there is no need to investigate the king, because if this matter is publicly investigated, the king will have to be killed. Then your mother, the king's sister, will not eat or sleep well, and then you will be worried. But if the king is not killed, the laws of our country cannot be implemented fairly." Therefore, the emperor thought he was very wise and made him the prime minister. When facing a complex situation, the prime minister showed extraordinary wisdom. He was able to weigh the interests of all parties and find a balance between national law and family affection. He considered both the fair implementation of national laws and the emperor's family feelings. He did not simply start from the legal perspective and forcefully investigate the king. Instead, he considered the stability of the overall situation. He understood the family relationship between the emperor and the king's sister, the emperor's mother, and the possible consequences of investigating the king. This sense of taking the overall situation into consideration shows that when making decisions, we cannot only focus on local interests, but should start from the whole and comprehensively consider various factors. After finding out the matter, he dared to report truthfully to the emperor and put forward his own views. Instead of avoiding the problem, he bravely took on his own responsibilities. This spirit of brave responsibility is also worthy of our learning. In the southern dynasties, the governor raised an army and rebelled but was killed by a general. However, the governor's soldiers were unaware of this and continued to attack the city. People spread rumors that the governor had already reached nearby. Local officials and common people were very afraid and secretly went to the governor's military camp to register and surrender. There were thousands of people who were preparing to defect and join the army. Only when the main army arrived did they know it was the general's troops. The general received the roster of those who had signed up to defect but did not look at it and burned it. Standing on the city tower, he said to the people, "The rebel governor has died. I am the general. Your names have all been burned. There is no need to be afraid." By burning the name lists and telling the truth, he successfully made people stop worrying and avoided more people blindly following the rebel army or falling into chaos out of fear. This shows that in any turbulent situation, stabilizing people's hearts is of crucial importance. Only by making people feel at ease can panic and uncertainty be reduced, and social order can be restored and stabilized. Paying attention to the psychological state of others and taking appropriate measures to stabilize people's hearts have a positive promoting effect on team cooperation and problem-solving. In the Tang dynasty, one day a subordinate suddenly told the general that his official seal was lost. The general's expression remained unchanged and he warned them not to make it public. At that time, he was feasting guests and watching singing and dancing performances. Outsiders did not understand the reason. In the middle of the night, when they were enjoying drinking heartily, the subordinate told him again that the official seal had been found. The general did not respond either. The banquet continued until everyone dispersed in high spirits. Someone asked him what the reason was. The general said, "A petty official under me stole the seal to write a contract. After finishing writing, he will put it back in its original place. If we pursue it too hastily, he may throw the seal into the river or into the fire, and then it will never come back." The general was able to accurately judge the purpose and behavior of the petty official who stole the seal and took wise countermeasures. He did not rush to pursue but waited for the petty official to put the seal back by himself, thus avoiding more serious consequences that might occur. This reflects the general's foresight. He can start from the overall situation, consider various possibilities of the problem, and make the most favorable decision. A calm and composed attitude is very important when facing emergencies. It can help us think and respond to problems better and avoid making wrong decisions due to emotional excitement. In Luoyang, there were people who held grudges against each other. The virtuous people in the city mediated dozens of times, but they didn't listen. Someone went to invite Teacher Gua and asked him to coordinate. So, Teacher Gua went to the homes of those who were feuding at night to persuade them. These people all listened to Teacher Gua's advice. Teacher Gua said to them, "I heard that the virtuous people here mediated, but you didn't listen. Today you listened to my advice, but how can I come from another city to handle this matter?" So he left that night. Before leaving, he instructed, "After I leave, let the local virtuous people mediate again." Teacher Gua was wholeheartedly dedicated to mediating feuds for the people. At the same time, he was strictly self-disciplined to avoid unnecessary troubles for himself and others. He understood the various reactions that he might cause as an outsider mediator. He chose to mediate at night and left at night after succeeding, fully demonstrating his sense of avoiding suspicion. In interpersonal communication and handling affairs, knowing how to avoid suspicion can prevent unnecessary misunderstandings and suspicions, and maintain good interpersonal relationships and a just image. After successfully mediating, he didn't take credit but left immediately and let the virtuous people in Luoyang continue to play their roles, reflecting his humble character of not competing for others' credit. Acting low-key can make us more focused on the matter itself, reducing external interference and pressure. At the same time, it can also avoid jealousy and hostility caused by excessive ostentation. In the Song dynasty, bandits occupied a certain place by the river. Among the county magistrates, there were some who secretly colluded with the bandits. Thus, this problem could never be solved. After the general learned of this, he ordered, "Prohibit people from entering or exiting this route by small boats." The bandits were cut off from their food supply and then dispersed one by one. From then on, this place has been peaceful. To solve a problem, one must grasp the key. In this story, the bandits occupied a place by the river, and food supply was the key to their survival. The general did not directly engage in a frontal confrontation with the bandits. Instead, by cutting off their food source, he achieved the purpose of solving the problem. This tells us that when facing a problem, we should not be limited to traditional ways of thinking and methods. We should analyze the essence and key factors of the problem and take effective measures to solve the problem fundamentally. Sometimes when solving a problem, it is not necessary to look only at the problem itself. We can consider solving the conditions that make up the problem. For example, a flame cannot exist without oxygen.
More detail, more story, follow me, please.